So this leads then, while we're on the topic of slavery, then let's then look at the case of the Civil War. We have here a situation where when President Lincoln was elected, before he had even taken the oath of office, the slave states, many of them, not all of them, but many of them looked at who Abraham Lincoln was. He had given many speeches on the importance of abolishing slavery and on the evil of slavery. So their assumption was, this guy's elected, he's president, he's going to want to get rid of slavery, and we can't have that. Our entire economic system is dependent on slavery doing our work for us and helping us produce what we've got to produce. So these states seceded from the nation. They rebelled. They decided, hey, they kind of did what the founders did during the Revolutionary War. They said, look, we don't like what's going on, so we're going to pull back. We're going to set up our own country. And they did. They elected their own president and all these things. Well, President Lincoln decided at the time, that's not legal. You can't do that. Now, you might look at that, and on its surface, you might think, well, they're doing exactly what the founding fathers did. And it looks like it, but it's not the same thing. So remember, prerequisite number one that John Locke stated for a people overthrowing and setting up a new government is if legislators endeavor to take away and destroy the property of the people or to reduce them to slavery under arbitrary power, the officials of the government put themselves into a state of war with the people. By President Lincoln taking a position that we should get rid of slavery, this was not an attempt to enslave people or to bring people into subjection or to deprive people of property. His belief was, we need to restore the freedom and the property of people who have been oppressed. So right at the beginning, the slave states don't meet that first test of, are we rebelling in a righteous way? The second prerequisite is majority rule. The very fact that President Lincoln was elected means that the majority of the United States agreed and wanted President Lincoln and what he represented. So this was a minority, and it was a large minority, but it was still a minority that was withdrawing. So this was not the voice of the majority, and it was not in response to an oppressive government who was enslaving and depriving people of liberty. So although it may look similar, when you look at these two wars and you analyze them on the basis of these principles, it becomes very clear why one was espoused and endorsed by God and had heaven's help, and the other wasn't. God's help was on the side of the North in bringing the southern states back into the Union and ultimately resulting in the freedom of an entire population of enslaved people.